is a valuable resource, and some people come into this and literally take the burnt aluminum from the tires and use that. And then we also know, Susan, which I'm sure you've seen, although I'm sure this street is mostly gone, there are a few homes that are still there that the people aren't able to be in, right? And they and so nobody's there to protect them, and so then these looters think it's open season because nobody's going to be there to stop them to go in and try to steal the jewelry or the money or all the rest of it too. And if you're not allowed to go back to your house, you can't protect your house.
Right. Well, I'm going to let you go because, unfortunately, I've got Fox News Channel. I got a big your name on the phone.
Okay. All right. So you can tune in at Susan on Trace Scout. They called me, actually, and wanted you because they were so impressed with your live shot earlier. So you can check Susan out on Trace Gallagher's show, Fox News at Night. All right, Susan. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's go to the Palisades fire. There's Ed Lascos, and you were right outside the village there.
Yeah, Marla, very quiet here, and a very good point about the looters. LAPD telling me a little while ago that the target of these looters, are people walking around here who are not supposed to be here, are the homes that are not damaged. And a lot of the condo buildings here along Sunset, they're open. The doors, the gates to the parking garages underneath are open.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
A few moments later.
LA mayoral candidate and real estate developer Rick Caruso criticizing the city's response to the windstorm and fires. He says officials should have been more prepared.
The real issue to me is twofold. We've had decades to go remove the brush in these hills that spreads so quickly. And the second is you've got to have water. And my understanding is the reservoir was not refilled in time and in a timely manner to keep the hydrants going. So that's a failure whether on DWP's part or another city agency. But this is basic stuff. This isn't high science here. And it's all about leadership and management that we're seeing a failure of. And all of these residents are paying the ultimate price for that.
Despite what you have heard from Caruso, no firefighters have told us that they are running out of water.
And let's go out to Gigi Graciette. She is live in Pacific Palisades. I know your signal's not the best, but Gigi, what can you tell us?
Well, firefighters have told me they have no water on this block, and you may be able to make out the ember storm that we're in the middle of right now. This house is going to be a total loss. They have no water to put on this fire. They are standing by because they're trying to save the home that is next to it.
All right, guys, so we have to continue our coverage of the disaster that is happening out in Los Angeles, California, that has put on full display the incompetence of the Democrat Party, okay? The world is saying that Democrats simply do not know how to govern, okay? And the people that are losing everything are finding out the hard way that maybe, just maybe, they probably should have voted a little bit differently, and they had multiple times to do so. Like, for example, when it comes to recalling Gavin Newsom, they had a chance to get rid of him, but they didn't, okay? And some of these same individuals are now confronting Gavin Newsom in panic over the fact that their kid lost their school to the wildfire, and some of their family friends have lost everything, including their homes, due to these wildfires that were largely preventable. However, because of Democrat mismanagement of the forest water resources, despite the warnings from Republicans and people like Trump, unfortunately, again, they lost everything unnecessarily, and people are upset, and they're demanding answers. Take a look.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the
president. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
Answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you out. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their home. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild.
Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all, literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be, of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
to fill the hydrants. I would fill them up personally, you know that. I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people are safe.
I'd like to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right there.
Now, I find it fascinating that this woman asked, is it going to be different next time? And I'm thinking there shouldn't be a next time, right? There should not be a next time for any of these Democrats, right? That's the problem. You people continue to vote for these Democrats, believing that they're going to be better. Oh, no, we're going to be better. We're going to prevent this next time, even though they had plenty of opportunity. They knew that the winds were picking up over a week ago, right? They knew that this was a possibility, and they failed to prepare for this, okay? These wildfires happen every single year. They knew it was coming, and they failed to prepare, okay?
Hell
but hey,
yeah.
you're not supposed to question the Democrats.
Wildfire is normal
news
in
outlets like
California.
MSNBC and CNN. You're not supposed to place the blame on them, right? Because it's a natural disaster, okay? And
But
you're not supposed to play politics. Okay?
it's not supposed to be out of hand like
okay?
this,
When
yo.
a natural disaster occurs, or any type of disaster, and Democrats are
Not
clearly to
supposed to be
blame.
out of
Oh,
hand,
no,
man.
you can't criticize them as politics, okay? But when a mass shooting happens, then it's fair game to blame Republicans, okay? And every gun in this country for why the mass shooting happened. Or if there's a natural disaster like a hurricane that is coming towards a red state or hits a red state, it is totally fair to criticize a Republican governor for how they're handling the disaster. Like, for example, Ron DeSantis out in Florida, except they really don't have much room to criticize Ron DeSantis because he's always prepared every single time there's a hurricane that hits Florida. Florida does an amazing job of preparing for it and recovering, in which, again, that's why you don't really see criticisms of Ron DeSantis, like you're saying, of Democrats right now, because Republicans like Ron DeSantis actually know how to govern.
It's appropriate for the president-elect or a president to be criticized.
Is it appropriate for people in your industry to try to create division and to try to create narratives anytime these things happen? Now, you're not as interested in doing that because Newsom is a D. If Newsom was a Republican, you guys would go try that. You would have him nailed to the wall for what they're doing over there. And I know that we just assume in Florida, anytime something happens, it's going to be politicized by the media. So you guys sitting in judgment of Donald Trump, I mean, excuse me, I think your track record of politicizing these things is very, very bad. Okay, last question.
Newsom should resign and that the wildfires are all his fault. So do you agree with those comments?
I remember when we had the Surfside Tower collapse, I had people from the Washington Post trying to blame me for it immediately without having any facts or anything. Oh, he didn't declare a state of emergency. First of all, state of emergency doesn't mean you can't respond. It's all that. Excuse me?
Biden did it. That's what you said.
Well, but what I'm telling you is you guys are trying to make an issue of it when I have watched from this seat. In fact, when I got elected governor, I was meeting with some of the other Republican governors, and what they would say is, hey, if you have a natural disaster, just know media's coming at you, they're going to do it. It's not the same. That mayor of L.A., if that were a Republican mayor, I could only imagine what that would do. I mean, you know the fires are at high risk, and you try to go to Africa, or wherever she was, to go on some type of voyage. You should have been there preparing and doing that, and yet I don't see a lot of heat being directed in that thing. And so, you know, I'd like to see some balance on how this is done. You could criticize the president-elect, but I think you also have to hold these other people accountable, and I have not seen that.
Smart people and real journalists are actually coming out the woodwork to question Democrats, including the DEI mayor of Los Angeles that got elected primarily due to the fact that liberals and progressives seem to be more concerned about making history rather than competence, okay? And this lady clearly is in over her skis, okay? Watch as she gets confronted by a reporter at a press conference over the terrible job that she is doing presiding over these wildfires. Take a look.
Mayor, LA County is in a panic state. It began 2 days ago with the Palisades fire. My crew and I arrived shortly after it started, and for several hours we watched as hundreds of homes in a neighborhood burned to the ground. We did not see a single fire engine. We watched as Good Samaritans guided traffic. There was fear and there was a lot of confusion. You were out of the country at the time. Shortly after the fire started, a press release was put out warning of this fire behavior. My question to you is, what explains this lack of preparation and rapid response?
Let me just say, first and foremost, my number one focus, and I think the focus of all of us here with one voice, is that we have to protect lives, we have to save lives, and we have to save homes. Rest assured that when rest assured, let me finish. Rest assured, when that is done, when we are safe, when lives have been saved and homes have been saved, we will absolutely do an evaluation to look at what worked, what didn't work, and to correct or to hold accountable any body, department, individual, etc. But my focus right now is on the lives and on the homes.
Do you think your leadership was effective while responding to this disaster?
I just said what I believe is the most important thing for us to do right now, and that is going to continue to be my focus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, except that's not getting done, right? That is not getting done. You're definitely not saving any homes, okay? People are evacuating, and maybe that's saving lives, right? But yeah, you're definitely not saving homes. You're not saving property. Schools are burning down, and you're not containing the fire, right? All of these fires have 0% containment, right? As in, they are just raging out of control. There's literally nothing that the California officials can do about these wildfires, okay? They're just allowed to burn, maybe into perpetuity. I don't know, okay? I mean, it could be another week, and all of LA could be burned to the ground at this rate. We really don't know at this point, okay? I'm hoping and praying that that doesn't happen, but I'm here to tell you guys that the leadership of the Democrat Party is not inspiring any confidence that the situation is going to get better anytime soon, especially when you have things like this happening. Like, for example, an emergency alert accidentally being sent out on air telling all LA County residents to evacuate, which only increases panic. But again, this is what happened. An emergency alert was accidentally sent out telling people to evacuate. Take a look.
We're just mapping out here are under mandatory evacuations. And obviously you can hear all of our phones are going off some type of alert, an evacuation warning, it looks like.
Yeah, my alert reads, this is an emergency message from the LA County Fire Department. An evacuation warning has been issued in your area.
Yeah.
This is what this looks like.
Remain vigilant of any threats and be ready to evacuate. Gather loved ones, pets, and supplies. Continue to monitor local weather news and the webpage alertla.org for more information.
Yeah, so these alerts come, based on where you are.
Looks like on my phone.
Yeah, and here we are in West LA, and we're getting an alert. We'll have to look into why.
Yeah.
It would not be from what we're talking about right here up to the north.
Wow. Wow. That is Democrat leadership, guys. That is Democrat leadership, okay? At some point, right, the liberal media has to admit that incompetent people are running California and Los Angeles, right? Mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. I've lost track. So again, it's getting so bad that there are reporters out there that are asking the tough questions. They're saying, you know what? We have to confront the Democrats about their priorities, okay? Because it seems as if they're out of line. Like, for example, they seem to be more concerned about Trump and trying to Trump-proof California and dealing with Trump rather than the wildfire emergency, which is what one reporter confronted one of the leaders of the Democrats in California's state house about. Take a look.
I could take a couple of questions. I do have to jump on a call here.
With that, with what you just mentioned and kicked off here, is now the right time to have a special legislative session on allocating money to fight Trump in a way that you could already do without a special legislative session?
So I'm here to address these wildfires. This is a historic wildfire. This is a historic event. These wildfires, as I mentioned, are going to be quite possibly some of the worst wildfires and disasters in state
but minutes ago,
in national history.
While this wildfire is happening, and while people are trying to understand what's going on and are worried about disaster relief, worried about the ability to get homeowners insurance, your chamber gaveled into a special legislative session to prepare for Donald Trump in a way that you are already able to do without a special legislative session. So again, is now the right time for that?
So certainly our focus right now is Speaker, Ashley. At this moment, my colleagues and I, we are acting with great urgency to ensure that we're providing much-needed relief to Angelenos, to ensure that we understand what it's going to take for this region to recover, and to support those that have been most impacted by this disaster. The response from our first responders has been unprecedented. And they're doing all that they can to control and contain, again, these multiple fires, are doing whatever they can to ensure that that they're keeping people safe now, and again, in anticipation and in preparation for recovery. And as a state, as a legislature, we will do everything we can to support that recovery.
Yeah, so I think that CNN and Abby Phillip should probably take notes, right? People would probably watch CNN and MSNBC if they actually did real journalism and reporting, like what is happening seemingly on the ground in California, where you have some people that are actually trying to get answers from the Democrats, right? They're actually criticizing Democrats and going after them for the terrible job that they are clearly doing, okay? What you guys just saw there was Speaker of California's Assembly, Robert Rivers, who would not answer any of the questions from this reporter, okay, who was asking, is this the right time to have a special session to legally fight Donald Trump, right? Is this the time to do that? Because that's what they're wasting their time doing. They're wasting their time trying to fight Trump instead of fighting what they should be fighting, which are the wildfires, right? That's what they should be worried about. But no. We got to make sure that we push back against Trump. That is their main priority, guys. It is a damn shame what we're saying. Okay, I can't believe it, right? Actually, I can't believe it because I knew they were this incompetent, but damn, to get exposed like this, it is real bad. But again, nothing's going to change until people change their votes, okay? People in California, they have to wake up and realize that voting for these far-left progressive lunatics, especially for the dumbest reasons possible, like, for example, DEI, is not in their best interest, okay? And the worst part about this hasn't even begun, to be honest with you. I mean, it's pretty bad to have your house be burned down, okay, to lose everything. But imagine trying to rebuild with California's regulations. Damn near impossible, which is something that Adam Carolla pointed out, which is that, hey, when these residents try to rebuild because they don't want to go anywhere, okay, that part of Los Angeles is pretty nice, okay, and they're definitely going to want to rebuild their community. Yeah, good luck with that, considering all the regulations and red tape that Democrats put in place to prevent any type of real development from happening.
Hey, California is heavily regulated, y'all. Spitting facts right now, man.
The guys who lost their $20 million homes on the ocean side of PCH will be knee-deep in the permit process. They will be trying to pull permits when the guys in the Winnebagos will have been back for months before those guys ever get a permit. As a matter of fact, good fucking luck. Because here's the deal. Alan Hamel, Suzanne Summers moved because they could not get a permit to rebuild their home of 40 years on the ocean on PCH, right? So here's what's going to happen. Let me just give you guys a little primer of what's going to happen. You know how Bill Maher seems real conservative now when he's like arguing with Jane Fonda about regulations, too many regulations, like strangling everything? Because remember, when Bill Maher tried to put solar in his house in Beverly Hills, that's when he turned against the government, because he saw what the government and the overreach of government and overregulation does. He got strangled. It took him 3 years to build a solar shack. He had a whole countdown on his show, day 1,000 since I've got my permit for my solar. He turned. Okay. The people who live in Malibu, who live in Santa Monica, who live in the Palisades, those are some of the most progressive blue voters in the world, or in the United States. They are a bastion of blue. So what those guys did is, all the people in the Palisades, I checked it out. It's about 80% blue, 80% progressive, 80% Democrat. Now, these are all sitting around crying about Karen Bass, water pressure, how come the forest wasn't cleared of all the brush, what's happening with the infrastructure. You guys all voted for Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles. You all voted for Gavin Newsom. And now you fucking get what you get. Oh, now that your house is on fire, well, now you're thinking about something else. Now you want to know what's going on. What's going on around here? You didn't give a shit about what was going on when other people's houses were on fire, but now you care. So here's what's going to happen. All these people who were deep blue Democrats are now going to have to pull a permit to rebuild. And they're going to get the 28-year-old from the Coastal Commission telling them to go fuck off. And then they're going to vote for Trump or whoever's Trumpian next. You see, they're going to get turned. They're going to get turned hard because, as I've always said, live in the rent control apartment in Santa Monica, fine, good. We know how you vote. Go deal with this city. Try to pull a permit. These are going to be thousands of homes, super wealthy people, and these people don't want to live in Van Nuys. They like it where they are. They love Malibu. They love the Palisades. They love Santa Monica. There's going to be a whole bunch of rich people, and they're going to go, I'm rebuilding, and I want to rebuild as fast as I can. And between the part where they go in to the Planning Commission and plan check and initially and try to pull a permit to the time the first load of lumber, the first load of 2x4s is dropped off on their lot where their house formerly stood, it's going to be 3 years. And 1,000 permits and 1,000 arguments and 1,000 discussions with the Coastal Commission, they're going to go nuts. And when they start running into the bureaucracy and the red tape, they're going to start going nuts, and they're going to vote for Rick Caruso next time because they want to get. That's all Trump says. Is we're going to pull back the regulations. We're going to free people up. They're going to find out. They're going to get bit by their own snake. They're going to convert. I am telling you, these are the bluest people on the planet, and they're going to be fucking ripshit pissed when the city and the Coastal Commission tell them to fuck off. And by the way, I don't think the Coastal Commission is going to okay anyone rebuilding any of their houses on the coast because they say they're in the business of protecting the coast. They're in the business of getting you to leave. They will get their wish, which is no buildings. And they're going to make it hard for everyone. And then we're going to have to restructure the whole thing because we can't have 9 angry lesbians controlling everything that goes on in Malibu, the Palisades, and Santa Monica.
Yeah, so let's hope that's the case, right? As I always say, the best way to red pill a leftist, progressive, Democrat, just give them what they want. Give them exactly what they voted for. They voted for all these regulations. They voted for Democrats to ignore forest management, to put the lives of endangered fish over the American people, to not make sure that there is water available to fight fires. Yeah, they voted for that, right? And see, when it didn't affect them, when it was affecting other people, they didn't give a damn, right? They stood on their progressive high horse, okay, virtue signal, and still voted Democrat. That's exactly what they did. Now, all of a sudden, when it's affecting them, and they have to go through the process of dealing with what they voted for, yeah, that's how they get red pill.
It sucks.
And it's a damn shame that it has to happen this way every single time. Why is it that people have to deal with the consequences of woke, lunatic, progressive policies before they realize that these policies don't work, that these policies are bad? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It should be common sense. Should be common sense. But unfortunately, progressivism, liberalism, the modern day Democrat Party is antithetical to common sense, especially in California, okay? Which is why they're in this situation. They should have voted for Rick Caruso in the last mayor election.
The Supreme Court has just denied President Trump's application to stay or halt his sentencing in that Manhattan case, which will now happen tomorrow.
It is a ruling that came down 5-4, with Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett joining the court's liberals and the majority here.
In this video today, the Supreme Court just dropped bad news on President-elect Trump when they ruled against his request to delay his sentencing hearing tomorrow in the New York sham case, that is. And also there's breaking news about the fire. They are now ruling one of them as arson, and they have caught the suspect. And Senator John Fetterman makes a shocking announcement. These stories are more in this video, but let's start with the ruling.
Just a few minutes ago, the Supreme Court ruled they are not going to slow down the sentencing. It's on for tomorrow. Now what?
Well, they called for an appeal, and as you know, they acknowledge what the judge said about no penalty, and there's no penalty. But we're going to appeal anyway, just psychologically, because frankly, it's a disgrace. It's a judge that shouldn't have been on the case. He's a highly conflicted judge, and they called for an appeal. So I read it, and I thought it was a fair decision, actually. So I'll do my little thing tomorrow. They can have fun with their political opponent. As you know, I'm under a gag order from a judge. This is the first. This was an attack of a political opponent. And if you take a look at it, I'm not supposed to be talking about it, so I won't. I'm the first president and probably one of the first candidates in history that's under attack with a gag order, where I'm not allowed to speak about something. And they ought to find out what that's all about. And this is a long way from finished. And I respect the court's opinion. I think it was actually a very good opinion for us because you saw what they said. But they invited the appeal.
You can do is, frankly, to stay at home, stay out of the way of rescue crews, and donate money. And that is that link again, go.fox/Red Cross. And thanks to everybody that donates.
I'm glad you brought that up because today we heard from the Pasadena spokesperson that that was in fact the case. We know that the Pasadena Convention Center is serving as an evacuation center, and people were literally driving up and dropping off old couches. Yeah. And they don't have it.
There's no place to put a couch.
They haven't gotten that far in this. We're not necessarily asking for furniture. We appreciate the gesture. So to your point, giving monetarily would be the best way to do it. And Adam, you directed me to your social media, and you are right. You have thousands of comments from people telling us, about their restaurant that is feeding the first responders. It is an amazing response. So kudos to you for doing that, and hopefully we can get that on the air tonight. Let's go to Tom Vakar. He is there in the Palisades fire, and you're watching the structure that could fall at any time or not, and more flashing lights behind you.
Boring.
It's the coincidence, the fact that they just happened to be there. The LAPD jumped out. They were driving by to patrol. They saw. They helped too. The fire department's just amazing. San Francisco and LA fighting the fire. They sat there and just tried to douse the flames in the house next door. They were trying to save that house, but these embers are so insidious because they can jump from one place to another, and without any warning. Damn, all of a sudden the house explodes in fire, and it's mind-boggling. I mean, my aunt's house has been there since the 70s. This other house next door that was burning was just built in the last few years, and the family that lived there had just been there for a short time. So, and every other house that you could pretty much see looking around was gone. The elementary school, I think, was gone. There are parts of it. I've been coming to this neighborhood to see my aunt since I was a kid, and I didn't even recognize it. If you didn't tell me where I was, I wouldn't have known.
And Tom, you
sucks to be those guys, man.
Out of control in the Los Angeles area. In Washington today, former President Jimmy Carter was remembered for his kindness, for his compassion, and for his character.
That got hit by a drone today, and now that's out of the scenario.
Scan.
What are you hearing about this incident?
Well, first of all, this aircraft, there are two of them, and they were provided by the Canadians, Quebec. It's a really unique airplane. It's a flying boat, but when this flying boat lands to be a boat, in about 12 seconds, it can onload about 1,600 gallons of water and mix it with retardant. But 1,600 gallons is, that's times 7 pounds. That's how many pounds it is. So that's, roughly 6 tons of water that it can pick up in 12 seconds, get back in the air. And so if it's going out to the ocean and picking up water for something near the ocean, it can make many, many runs. So it's a very important thing. But again, it's an aircraft, and an aircraft it doesn't like getting hit by things. And in a situation where you get hit by a drone, a little drone probably would be meaningless. But there's some fairly large drones out there, and depending on what it hits, it could do anything from cause a hole in the body, but it could also interfere with the props, bend a prop or something like that, and then throw the thing out of kilter. Probably wouldn't cause it to crash, but what it would do is put it out of service. And the last thing we need right now is any serious fire equipment that can fight fires from the air being out of service, and apparently this one is.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, and you make a good point. I mean, a lot of times we think of a drone and you think of, the small little things you see flying around, but as we know, they can be quite large, so that's likely the case here, and we're looking at this, the Quebec, we know. Go ahead.
Yeah, one other thing I want to mention is understand that you guys had just broadcast that the containment is now 6%, which is progress. But I've talked to a lot of experts over the years that are in the firefighting business, and they say when you really feel like you're getting a handle on this thing, where you feel like you're kind of the master of it, or you can be the master of it, providing that more trouble doesn't come in the form of high winds or something else, you get to about 35%. Now, I thought it would have been over 50% when I first started to consider this, but once you get to about 35%, that allows the firefighters to move crews from one location where they don't have to worry so much to locations where they do, and that can speed up the whole thing. So when you start getting to 35%, you can start thinking, well, they've really got a pretty good handle on this. But at 6%, that can go the other direction very, very quickly. So it's good news, but with the Santa Ana winds, it may not be good enough news.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I got a little overly excited on the 6%, Tom. I'll give you that. It's nice to see that number finally go beyond zero.
Well, any containment is good, because that just doesn't require that much attention anymore. But it's 35% where they feel like, if everything else is equal, and with the Santa Ana winds, everything else is not equal, then you have this situation where it could go the other direction. But at 35%, I've rarely seen them come back from 35%. So I think that's a pretty reasonable figure. But, you got to start somewhere, and 6% is as good a place as any.
Yeah. And that's interesting. I didn't realize that about that threshold of 35%. Tom, you're an amazing reporter. We thank you so much for being with us. Yes, you are a wealth of knowledge.
We continue to look live from Skyfox at the Pacific Palisades. That fire is burning. Hopefully we'll get to that 35% number soon enough, but right now we are at 6%. But thankfully right now it is not moving aggressively towards homes like we have seen in the past. One of the big concerns is arson. That we've been talking about, and there are reports that the fire that we saw burning tonight in West Hills and Calabasas
20,000
was started by a potential arsonist. Our colleague, also from KTVU, is there tonight talking about what he's seeing on the ground and what we've learned in terms of a potential crime scene now.
Zach Sauce, are you there? Can you hear us?
Okay. Good on white.
No, we hear him. Zach, are you there?
So yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm at the corner of Arcos and Galendo in the community of Woodland Hills. It is here that we understand a bizarre set of circumstances occurred around 4:30. It is our understanding that police have made an arrest of a suspected arsonist here in the community of Woodland Hills. A source in the police department telling us that this suspect may be tied to the potentially the Kenneth fire. So around 4:30, we are told by several neighbors here that there was a man riding around on his bicycle with a large blowtorch, apparently attempting to set numerous old Christmas trees on fire, garbage cans with wood debris on fire. He was riding around, and some neighbors that were just being very alert about this, certainly concerned seeing all of the fires in the community. You know, they knew that something was not right here. As he started to ride away, neighbors started to follow him. He eventually made his way up here to this intersection, and that is where a number of neighbors stepped in. Take a listen.
I had been sent a video by my daughter-in-law who lives on the first floor that an arrest was being made with a guy driving on a bicycle with a blowtorch. I didn't see this, but somebody across the street tracked down this guy through the neighborhood he was riding around and either tackled him, and my daughter-in-law called the police, or somebody called the police, called 911, and they sent loads of cop cars out.
And how did your friend intervene?
Apparently he saw him walking, and a couple of his neighbors did as well. They called the cops right away. Suspicious looking guy. They all came out of their house. They told him to stay right there, held him down, stuff like that.
They detained him?
Yeah, they detained him. That's what I heard.
So you guys, I understand you zip tied him? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. This gentleman, I understand he seemed sort of agitated. Can you describe that?
I mean, it seemed like maybe he was on something or something. He was very like, I can't stop. I'm not putting this down. I'm doing this. And very focused on moving forward with the blowtorch. And we were like, we can't be doing that right now.
Yeah, just a remarkable set of events here. Neighbors, again, being alert, seeing something that was obviously suspicious, deciding to step in. They say that this man was acting incredibly erratic when they detained him. You saw that video that was shot from above here. That first person you heard from there, that was his... That video was shot from above from that home. The neighbors had some zip ties. They were again able to detain him. They said that this man did mention potentially being on some form of a drug, yeah, again, they say that they then called police. Police arriving, they say, fairly soon after. A large police presence. One neighbor telling me it was the largest police presence he has seen in this community, which is generally a very quiet community, and they took him away. Again, we don't know if any charges have been filed right now, but we do believe he is being held potentially on attempted arson. Back to you.
Zach, thank you for all that information and that new video, courtesy of Citizen app. So you are currently in Woodland Hills, is that right?
That is correct. Yep, just at the corner of, go ahead.
No, my question is because there was a little bit of confusion where it hadn't hit the residents yet who have been evacuated. Are people out of their homes? Because we know that early on the progress was pretty significant here in terms of the firefight, so that the evacuation order was downgraded to a warning. So I'm just curious of sort of the state of the neighborhood right now. Are people out of their homes? Are they in homes?
This community has not been evacuated. Most people are in their homes. Some have chosen to leave out of an abundance of caution, but most people just closely monitoring the fire, which is just incredibly close. And again, that is why when they saw, I mean, I assume that anyone who saw something like this, given the circumstances, would probably call police, but they were already very much on edge when they saw this person riding around, and that is why they decided to step in.
Do they know how he started the fire?
Well, again, to be clear, it is only through a source that this person is potentially being tied to the Kenneth fire. What they saw was this man with the blowtorch going up and down the block.
The camera for?
Why do I have the camera for?
Yeah.
Have flames still burning here. It's been going all morning long. He's been here for 60 years, raised his kids in this house. I mean, what are you feeling when you see your house like this now?
That's what you said.
How do you feel looking at this morning?
I'm going to break down again. That's what I feel. It's my whole life.
Everything was in there. So lost everything.
You shape up. You're supposed to be a support. Anyway, I'm okay. I'll be okay. I'm tough, and we'll start
You
over.
are tough.
Oh, dang.
Enough.
It was a joke, okay? A bunch of guys in the bathroom. Okay, it's gonna sound worse if I just cut off there. But me and Zach were drinking water, and Zach pushed my head down into the fountain, and then a bunch of guys said something about Diddy, and then I yelled, I love Diddy. It was a joke, okay? It was a joke.
Wait, you say he smacked who, buddy?
Welcome back. President-elect Trump and
What's the deal, y'all? What's the deal?
So the Richie.
Oh, let's see the bird.
So the Richie Valens Rec Center. That's the address to that is Laurel Canyon Boulevard in Pacoima. So the Richie Valens Rec Center is serving as an evacuation site. The Pan Pacific Recreation Center, that is serving as an evacuation site. The Stoner Recreation Center is also another evacuation site. And the Calvary Community Church in Westlake Village is also open to take evacuees.
Yeah. Lots of evacuees. You think about the fact that, well over 1,000 structures burned, and those include, obviously, families that have more than one person in a lot of those structures.
Burning everywhere. Let's see what this guy got to say. I don't know.
But I also want to remark that as Rudabeh and
40 with gusts up to 80, 90. Imagine trying to put that over the house.
If it is true that Gavin Newsom...
The people who live in Malibu, who live in Santa Monica...
How does he do
Los Angeles County deputies have arrested people for looting in areas affected by the fires.
That's according to Sheriff Robert Luna,
How's that house
who did
burning?
not say which
And
area
all
or
them trees ain't
areas,
burning.
arrests were made. He has a warning for anyone considering loitering.
I'm sad to report we made 2 arrests this morning for looting already. So if you are thinking about coming into any of these areas to steal from our residents, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be caught, you're going to be arrested, and you're going to be prosecuted. Don't do that. Stay out of these areas. It's only for emergency workers and people who live there.
Tens of thousands of people are under evacuation orders there.
All right, well, you see that, right? Yeah. So I'm on social media, right? I'm on Twitter. Trying to see who's looting. Yeah, I'm just looking for, well, not at the time. I was just on Twitter, and I'd seen that video earlier. I was like, man, people would do anything, would take advantage of or exploit any situation to come up, right? Right. So I come across this on Twitter. Yeah. Right? In Los Angeles, the usual suspects are currently looting homes that have been evacuated. Not even a deadly wildfire will stop these thugs. I was like, dang. Yeah, but look at, if I'm looting, how am I going to let somebody with a camera get that close to me? Yeah. They didn't. I was like, well, I have a bias, and a lot of people have a bias, so they fall for it. They see black person, oh, this must be true. Right. But so I come down here and look at the comments, right? Right. It's like, that has nothing to do with the post. That Look, Wild Times, Fathers Matter. You know, black people don't have fathers. That's it's a stereotype of black. Yeah, but it's a fact. Look, how much stuff do they need? Always stealing, and for what? Yeah. Look, reparations. They'd steal fire if they could make a buck. That's crazy. Yeah, but they love their little pets in California. That's wild. That's absolutely disgusting behavior. It's unthinkable that humans could be so inhumane. More values and ideology matter. Right, you see that? Well, this is, they're clearly cleaning and evacuating. There are literally firefighters in the first clip on the left. The links these rejects will go to lie, it's staggering. Right. So I was like, okay. Look, the usual suspects, of course. Well. Criminals thrive in California. And this is wild right here. Yeah, this is flat out racist. What do you expect from a sub-race? This is not actually a real person. I would think that's got to be AI. The zookeeper arrested for trying to do it with a 500-pound male gorilla. That's got to be a fake news story. Yeah, one of the looters are starting fires as distractions. Committed felons. No, they weren't robbing, they were jogging. When that guy was jogging, they claimed this. But anyway, I was scrolling down. This dude, they need to be arrested and convicted. These people are evil. They got Canada First MAGA. But then I came across this. Right. Careful what you post. It's a good way to get sued for defamation. These people are not looting. This is in Compton, and the people carrying stuff out of the house are her children and friends. Here she's being interviewed by a local news station about the situation. I was like, what? It's a honker. Yeah. There's the house. Yeah. You see that? Yeah. That was the house number. 161. 161. Let me go back up. What was it up here? You show the house, right? Yeah, it looks like the same house. It looks like, look. 161. All right, let me go back to this. Let me see what they're saying. Maybe they get an interview for.
You want to call fire?
We stayed until the last minute.
So tell me what happened, how that played out.
They told us to leave, and we got what we could. We have dogs, we have animals. We moved that stuff, and then
so this
we
is actually in Compton.
We waited across the street, and that rude
the whole
right
state
there,
is burning down.
I yelled at him and cussed him out because he acted like he don't understand. Like, we trying to get our stuff. You going home tonight? We not. And we just got what we could get. That's all we can do. We got to start over.
And how many of y'all live here?
Me and my 3 kids.
You don't know where you're going next?
Nope, but I'm going somewhere.
And tell me, how did you get all these? So these all friends, family?
They are. My brothers work for the city of Pasadena. They wet the vegetation before the firefighters came. The Compton firefighters is the only ones who really put the water out here and everything. The city of Pasadena employees wet the vegetation and prevented it from getting all the fire out here. The firefighters.
That is 161. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Bring up that dude's Twitter. That dude crazy, man. Well, it looked like he got it from somewhere else. He probably see it right there. It was on Instagram. Right. He saw that. He said, oh, these black people, I'm going to post them. So he's a victim to the person who originally posted it. Yeah, the Qigong Mexican. Oh. He posted it. Hey, go to their Instagram and see what happens. I can't. I don't have it logged in. Oh. I mean, what was it, a Qigong Mexican? Look. Looters. Everybody's posting it. Oh. Look at that. Everybody I follow is posting this. Yeah, all the conservatives. I'm not gonna put them out there, but every conservative I know is posting this video. Well, we all have our biases. So I mean, these are black conservatives. Yeah, but I see a guy like that's. Yeah. They're not doing anything wrong. Yeah, it just we commit so many, we do so many things as Yeah, well, you see a lot of times when these houses.
County and was only supposed.
There is a lot happening as the tragedy in California continues. It is tempting to say that everything happening with these California fires is an act of God. Of course, partially that is correct. There's the Santa Ana winds and
Beast games have been out for a couple of weeks now, and the reviews have been a mixed bag. I mean, IGN's...
I want to bring in our...
Allegedly, the governor of California has been repeatedly warned that they... Allegedly, the governor of California has been repeatedly warned that they should improve wildfire prevention in California. So now Gavin is being blamed for the devastation in California. If you are new, please make sure that you are subscribed so you'll get recommended more content like this. So just a bit of a disclaimer. This, of course, is information that I have collected, and I encourage you guys to do your own research. And I know that this is also a topic that is very difficult for many of you right now. And I just encourage you guys to be overcautious, be very careful. My understanding from what a lot of people have been saying is just that Gavin Newsom passed some rules that was meant to protect these fish, these Delta smelt fish, which is a small fish endemic to California that only occurs in San Francisco. The problem with this, according to NBC News, is that the governor refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently in big trouble. So Newsom has declared a state of emergency, and he is also basically saying that Trump is just trying to play politics, which in my opinion doesn't seem like something that Newsom does at all. It just seems like they get money and it just disappears. And I say that it disappears because years ago, Californians voted to get $7.5 billion for their water plan. So you would think, where did that money go? Along with where did the $24 billion go to help homeless people, which would have also helped prevent the fires? Because I have seen clips of homeless people allegedly trying to start fires. And again, I'm just a random person on the internet. This is just my experience of looking at all of the different news articles that are coming up recently. So even though California is not a desert, it is as dry as a desert. Even fire hydrants quickly ran out of water. You had a $7.5 billion water plan, and yet the fire hydrants didn't have water. Okay. It is so insane to see that Donald Trump has been commenting on this for years now. So what exactly has Donald Trump been saying about California and their trees and their water plan, things that could have prevented this? So listen to Donald Trump talking to this man on the left here, Gavin Newsom.
Cleaned out and protected. You got to take care of the floors. You know, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have much different. We're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. So I know everybody's looking at that to that end, and it's going to work out.
This is so frustrating. I mean, everything that he's saying is so true. And we're going to be looking at some of the clips from the Joe Rogan podcast, because I remember Donald Trump talking about this on Joe Rogan, and I was like, this is all kind of random. I mean, he's talking about some Delta smelt fish. I was like, I don't know what that is. But then now, a few months later, it's like, we should have listened. And especially if you're the governor of California, you should have listened. But here he is, while Donald Trump is talking, it's probably just going in one ear, out the other. I mean, sorry, Gavin, but it doesn't really look like you were paying attention at all. And it's no surprise why Gavin Newsom has become one of the most hated politicians of all time. So Joe Rogan has actually called him a con man, and he gave many reasons. And a con man is a person who tricks other people in order to get their money. He has been doing this with Californians left and right with billions of dollars. They give him their money, and then it just disappears. And there is no help when the Californians need it. And what's frustrating is seemingly there's a very simple solution, but they don't want solutions. So Donald Trump has been explaining, just like clean up the dry wood, because that is what causes the fires to spread. And I don't think that that would cost billions and billions of dollars over tens of years, something that wouldn't be fixed. This happens every year, and Donald Trump is like, here's the solution. They have the funds for it, but yet, for some reason, it's nowhere to be found.
It's a disgraceful thing. Old trees are sitting there rotting and dry, and instead of cleaning it up, they don't touch them. They leave them, and we end up with these massive fires that we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars for to fix.
It's costing them more money to not do something than to just so easily fix the problem. It doesn't make any sense. Donald Trump has repeatedly explained how after the trees fall down, it is extremely dangerous, and yet they haven't taken simple measures.
Well, I think something's possible. I think a lot of things are possible, but with regard to the forest, when trees fall down after a short period of time, about 18 months, they become very dry. They become really like a matchstick.
I guess at one part he said it's not climate change, it's the Democrats. There's a lot of people making fun of California because it seems like this is the bed that they made so that they should sleep in it. However, these are real Americans who are scared right now, and we should be showing our utmost support for them. Again, here's another clip of Trump warning and telling people how to prevent situations like this.
They said, we have no water. I said, do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. I said, why do you have no water? Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured. I could have water for all of that land, water for your forests. You know, your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah, but then the politicians wouldn't get their big payday. Yeah, of course. Seems pretty simple, right? But if you mess around and you fix the problem, then how are these politicians allegedly going to be getting these huge payouts? I mean, where are these politicians' huge net worths coming from if they don't do anything, if they don't own real estate, if they don't own businesses like Donald Trump does? That's why they became politicians. That's why Donald Trump is presenting a solution. And they're just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened. And again, I'm not stating any of this as a fact. I just find it pretty strange that they are a state that is the most climate aware, and they have taken so many measures to enforce more electric vehicles in the state and trying to protect these little fish. And yet it just doesn't seem, it seems like the more environmentally aware they are, the worse that they are making it.
And every time I go to California, I said, you have so much water.
You're not going to be able to buy an internal combustion engine in California. Like within a month, they had some announcement asking people to not charge their Teslas.
Please make it make sense. Electric cars need mining. They need resources as well. It's not like things just come from the air. Honestly, all of this is making me a bigger Trump fan because it just is amazing that he just seemed 10 steps ahead of everybody else. And here he is 4 months ago talking about this while everyone was just la 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 la. And now we're like, what do we do? What do we do?
And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, you know, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests.
But I mean, what about their forest fund? What about all this money that they're raising to fix the problem? If you fix the problem, then what's going to happen to my paycheck? So on the day that I'm recording this, Trump posted Governor Gavin refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow melt from the North flow daily into many parts of California. Why would he do that? Why? Including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. He wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt by giving it less water. It didn't work, but didn't care about the people of California. You know, you are governor of California, right? He says, I will demand that this incompetent governor, wow, he literally has no chill. That is like my favorite thing about Elon Musk and about Donald Trump is that they don't have to beat around the bush. They don't have to tread on thin ice. They say what they want because they don't have their hands tied up into all of the mess of politicians and they're not being funded by random places. They are self-sufficient. And that is what I love about them. Allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California. He is to blame for this. Yeah, he's to blame for a lot that is happening in California. But seemingly, all of this just will not stop him from getting a good close-up shot, from getting an angle as if he's also just really struggling right now and that he's not going to be completely okay and that it's the Californians who are actually terrified right now for losing their homes. It's a wild situation. Gavin Newsom is so out of touch with reality, doing these little interviews in front of a very dangerous area that no citizen should be in. The air quality is just so bad. People should be getting out of there. It's not good for them. But here is Gavin Newsom like, do you have my good side? Get me right here, and then so that you can get all of the flames in the background. That looks really cool. Now, after you get this clip, go ahead and pan around and then come and get me front and center. We really want to convey the message that I care. And it's really important that we make people believe that I care and that I am struggling so much from this. As you can see, he's sitting here like, oh, yes, this mess that I have made. Yes, I see it. I see the vision of how I wanted to destroy things coming to pass. I see it coming into reality. I saw a video earlier of Gavin Newsom with a fire hat on talking to the people. And I was like, why are you wearing that? Like, it makes you look like you're out there putting out the flames, like you really care. And I just cannot believe that somebody was actually like, we should stop the flow of water to protect the little fishies, because they're endangered. Nobody cares about the little tiny fish. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to eat it for like a second, and you have to eat like 1,000 of those fish to have a full meal. What do they serve for? Please tell me. I looked up, what do smelt fish serve for? And it said they are commonly served fried. So I bet Gavin Newsom is just like there eating some smelt fish like, oof, that's good. Was it worth it? I don't know, but that's some pretty good fried fish. Please stay up to date on all of the current information. The entire country is praying for everybody who was affected. Double check that you're subscribed so you can continue to get notified when I post new videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
That wasn't bad.
Los Angeles, the city of angels, the home of Hollywood glamour, the site of the 2028 Olympics, is telling many of its citizens just flee, because it does not have the power or the water that they need to stay safe. But the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, is now finally back from Ghana. Joe Biden sent her there for the inauguration. Like, who gives a crap? Why is the LA mayor going to Ghana for some political event? What in the actual F? And let me tell you something. The warnings about these Santa Ana winds being worse than normal and bringing a grave threat were all over the place. You look back at the LA Times now, for days prior to this event, they were jumping up and down saying, this actually could get really bad. And she's over there in Ghana for the ceremonial. Why? Get your ass back home. Now, there's a tweet. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Resurfacing online from, here it is. From when Ted Cruz got ridiculed for leaving Texas to go on vacation in the middle of I can't remember what was happening to Texas. Was it fires there? And she, Karen Bass, what was it, Steve? There's a snowstorm. Okay. You don't think snowstorm when you think Texas. In any event, she tweeted out, Ted Cruz fleeing Texas in the middle of a deadly crisis is part of a larger pattern of the GOP abandoning folks in crisis. We need to build a movement to kick them all out. Well, how'd that one go, madam? Is that part of your pattern on your team to abandon folks during a crisis? I mean, I realize you sent a couple of tweets, but in this kind of situation, people like to see and hear from their leaders. And you were in Ghana enjoying yourself. Now, she finally holds a presser, and it was a complete disaster. First of all, before I get to the truly disastrous part, listen to her describing herself. Like, I basically got on the back of Superman to come home. Take a listen to this too.
I've been in constant contact with our fire commanders, with county, state, and federal officials. I took the fastest route back, which included being on a military plane, which facilitated our communications. So I was able to be on the phone the entire time of the flight. We are fighting for you and everyone in Los Angeles.
Okay, I took the fastest route home. Are we supposed to be giving credit for the fact that she didn't book too many layovers? This is an absurd person. And you don't have to take my word for it in response to that inanity you just heard. Listen to the mayor in her time of crisis, her city's time of massive crisis, in directing people where to go if they need information, which they do because their houses are burning and their family members in at least 5 cases are dying. Listen to this idiot in stop 3.
Build stronger than ever. Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL.
At URL. She is too stupid to be the mayor of Los Angeles. She is too stupid to be in public office. You failed, madam. You failed. You failed to prepare for the crisis. And then when your country and your city needed you, what did you do? Oh, you took the fastest route home with no layovers on a military plane? Great. And when you got there, you were too dumb to realize that URL was a placeholder and then to actually look to your team and say, what is the URL? What is the web address? You are a moron. And I am sorry for our friends in Los Angeles who don't deserve this. I realize they voted for this woman, but I'm going to assume they thought she had 2 nickels to rub together in between her ears. Live and learn. Then she gets caught on the way to, I think this was the news conference, by a Sky News reporter. He got her at the airport. And man, did this guy do a good job. Take a listen to this and how I don't really care, to be honest, whether it's she can't or she won't answer the questions. I'm equally horrified either way. Watch.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
Yeah, my boy, shoot.
Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them?
That is utter incompetence. Again, picture Trump. Picture Trump in that circumstance. Would he ever just sit there ignoring the reporter firing those questions at him? No, he would say something. Say something resembling anything. Right? Like, take a shot, madam. This guy was on the plane with her coming back from Ghana, most direct route, fear not, and started firing questions at her. And this is her first chance to actually say something. I know you're going to a presser. Say, I'll address it more fully at the presser, but here's my message right now. You're an idiot. She's too dumb to do it. That's why she didn't do it. That's why the fire department wasn't ready. That's why she took nearly $20 million from them instead of fully funding the FD, because she had other priorities like the homeless and the illegal immigrants. Those are the reports that she was doling out the money to help all the illegals who were in LA. And she didn't care about a known risk to the tax-paying citizens of LA, the upstanding, law-abiding citizens of Los Angeles who pay her salary, who help the city stay on its feet. Whatever you think of LA, it's historic, it's beautiful, it's totally charming in its character. Forget the politics, all right? Just put that bullshit to the side. You go out there and you drive around and you think, oh my God, if it weren't for the politics, I'd live here. It's so pretty and cute and like all these like sort of no-name charming restaurants that are just off the beaten path where you can get really great food and like sole proprietors, still mom and pop businesses, unlike Manhattan, by the way, which was ruined by another Democrat, where he chased all the mom and pop proprietors out with his inane policies. In any event, it's sad that this city is being lost before our very eyes because, in part, of the utter incompetence of people like Karen Bass. Go to URL. She's too dumb to be your leader. Can you recall a mayor? There should be an immediate recall. I know you can recall a governor. He's no better. Gavin Newsom, with his stupid widow's peak, he's done nothing. Listen to him when he was asked about the fact that there's no water in the fire hydrants.
What is the situation with water? Obviously, in Palisades ran out last night in the hydrants. I was trying to firefighter in this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here. The local folks are trying to figure that out.
The local folks are going to... Why don't you know the answer? What do you mean the local? Again, picture Ron DeSantis. You think he'd be like, oh, some local folks. You want to be on TV so badly? You want to sit across from Anderson Cooper so badly that you decide to wing it, and then when tough questions come, the local folks will figure. No, you're the governor. You answer. You. The local folks are in Ghana. It's so infuriating. I mean, honestly, you guys know, my dear friend, who is not a rich person, lost her home. It's utterly destroyed. It is ashes now, every belonging that she has. And she and thousands of others now are looking for answers on how this happened. And, the local folks are going to figure it out. You know what the local folks said? This woman we told you about yesterday, whose salary was doubled. I don't know what her story is. All I know is she is a woman and she's Hispanic. She's a diversity hire. That doesn't mean she's not qualified, but they doubled her salary from the man who she replaced. She makes $750,000 a year. And this woman is out there saying, well, there were 3 separate tanks that supplied water to the Palisades. The fire started 10:30 Tuesday morning, California time. And by that night, 3 a.m. overnight, Tuesday into Wednesday, the first one was totally empty. And by the next morning, the other 2 were totally empty. And therefore, the people did not stand a fighting chance. And her explanation was, well, it's very hard to fight a wildfire in an urban setting with urban water supply. Yeah, we know. You knew that a week ago. You knew that a month ago. Where the F was the planning? We know all that. We know that. Why are they looking at us now just telling us facts that were known like it's an explanation for their incompetence? These days, personal safety is not something that can be left to chance, whether at home, on the road, or just living everyday life.
During Good Day LA, you can expect that information.
What a nightmare. I mean, what an absolute shit show. Charlie Kirk tweeted this out. He writes, a friend of a friend.
Let's see what this guy got to say.
What did I just witness? He found out that the girl that he met on Tinder is pregnant.
You won't be on Tinder. You need to put in your bio that you're pregnant. Because you can't talk to me. Catfish. Stop catfishing. No, stop catfishing. So you don't want to do it because I'm pregnant? I mean, it was fun, but when the movie was on the movie off now. Okay, but you see that I was pregnant, though. You didn't say nothing the first time. I told you, because I ain't have money to pay for the movie. You paid for the movie. I watched the movie. The movie was good. You had it in your bio, bro. So we can't date because I'm pregnant? No. No. But it doesn't even have to be. It doesn't. Yeah, you embarrassed me in public, bro. You got me out here. You pregnant. I don't need. When you catfish, stop catfishing. I'm not catfishing. Stop catfishing, bro. I'm not catfishing. All these people looking at me. Stop catfishing. I didn't think that it was gonna be a problem. It's a huge problem. You don't have to take care of this. You don't. Why would you go on a date with another man if you're pregnant? You don't have to take care of this baby. Is you alright? I'm cool. I done paid for the movie tickets and all that. Yeah, now you want to say something? Yeah. Why you didn't say something in the beginning? Because I wanted to really watch this movie. So we not going out to eat no more? No, we're not. You about to drop me off. So because I'm pregnant. I got to get back on Tinder, do all this stuff again. All again. I got to get back on Tinder and find my match. Okay. All because I'm pregnant. Yeah, you just wrong. All because I'm pregnant. Now, come on, drop me off.
Dastardly work from both people in the situation. The woman is another level of dastardly. But for the guy to not have enough money to go on a movie date, the fact that she's picking him up, dropping him off, is odd behavior. But we're going to focus on her dating while pregnant. Now, there's some people out there that think that this clip is fake, and I absolutely do not think that this clip is fake. Because if you just take a brief look up on social media, you will see that there's a conglomerate of women that not only think that this is not wrong, but they advocate to dating while pregnant.
Dating while pregnant. So I'm going to tell you guys about my personal experience with dating while pregnant while I do an unboxing of what the guy that I'm currently seeing bought me yesterday. So let's get into it. So obviously dating while pregnant is super controversial already because all that people can think about when they think of dating is hooking up, which is completely not true, at least for me. So in no way, shape, or form am I shaming hooking up on the first night because, girl, have I done it, okay? Wow. And I haven't done it while I've been pregnant, but I don't see anything wrong with that in the first place. I've hooked up with guys on the first night and ended up dating them for a year or 3 years, and it's been serious and long term. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with hooking up. It is fascinating to me, the lies that people will tell themselves in order to substantiate the way that they have lived life. So you're going to tell me, as you sit in your room with a damn Pikachu plushie and a send nude sticker on the wall, as you try to convince us that a man actually bought a Louis Vuitton whatever for you after dating you while pregnant, as you get up on the internet and talk about how much of a thought pocket that you are, because you see no issue with hooking up with random men, and in fact, you're creating an audience of women who don't want to be held responsible for their actions and create this fairy tale within their life as if there are no consequences. I can live however I want, and at the end of the day, a man will forgive me and reward me with not only a relationship, but marriage, and on top of that, reward me with high-end shopping. Your lies are absurd, ma'am.
But personally, dating while pregnant has been super interesting. One thing that I've noticed is that guys really love, like actual men and not boys, really love to be providers, and they like to feel needed. So if you just ask them for what you want, they'll usually just get it for you. Without expecting anything in return, of course, because nobody should be doing things for you if they are expecting something in return, basically. So that's kind of how dating for me while pregnant has been. Men have treated me amazing and not really expected anything in return. They know that I'm growing life right now. I'm like a whole ass mother, what the fuck? But yeah,
Soon to be.
I do like dating while pregnant. It's been super interesting. So if you guys want to hear more about that, I will do more story times because I have some stories. But look at these that I got yesterday. Oh my God. He is so sweet. I'm in love with these. These are gorgeous. And then we went on a really nice dinner date, and then I went home.
If you guys haven't picked it up already, it's obviously a product or a business that she's trying to sell. And what she's selling is mindset. What she's selling is sister code. What she's doing is that she's lying, all to sell a made-up fictitious image which promotes this girl boss brand that she makes money off. Because the truth is while not all, there are some Super Saiyan simps out here that would date pregnant women. It is by far not the majority, especially high-earning men that are worth their weight in salt would never put up with a situation like this. What's more closer to the reality of the situation, which is my guess, is that she's escorting while pregnant. But seriously, not chastising women for not only not wanting to raise children in a two-parent household with the child's father, but then also allowing another random man to go deep inside your orifice while pregnant is so disgusting. Have you no shame, woman? 28 weeks pregnant, her and her baby daddy are not working out, and she's looking for any, but time doesn't wait, and she wants to get wrecked again. I just do not understand why.
Black women just want you to understand their point of view. Black women want you to, they want you to see what they are going through, and black men just don't.
Oh, hell
Laura,
no.
Laura, in terms of the fire.
Still burning.
If you not about to send a bitch no money, just say it. Just say it. Why? But what's your cash app? I bet you she gonna reply. I bet you, nigga. You know how I know? Cause these bitches is broke. That's how I know. She not gonna miss out on no opportunity, and she broke. Y'all think they don't be seeing y'all messages? Man, these hoes be seeing y'all messages. They just reply to what they want to reply to, bro. Trust me, bro. I'm trying to tell y'all, they see everything. Try it, bro. I'm giving y'all some game. Jump in the bitch DM that's been ignoring you. Like, this bitch don't never reply. Just put Cash App with a question mark and just see what she just, you feel me? I'm telling you.
Crazy work. Crazy work. What's this woman confronts Anton Overstreet?
Oh, she said that the girl got to be bad. Yeah.
Man, wait. Let me get this off. Jim. Jim. Wack. Let me just get this off my shoulders, right? Let me just get this off my shoulders to show you what type.
Sheesh, what's going on over here?
Order to shoot
into the areas of the San Fernando.
Well, guys, it looks like TikTok might officially be getting banned. There has been talks about this for a very long time, and now we are finally seeing the issue come to a head, and the matter is about to head to Supreme Court tomorrow. So 9 months ago, the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act was proposed to Joe Biden, who quickly signed this bill.
I just signed an